Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Psychic Tarot Show with ASHALA. Before we get started, I just want to shout out to all of you that are joining me here in the chat. Hello there, Doris, Sarah, Mark, GS, 344, Minerva. I'll see if I can get to some of your questions when I finish doing our forecast for this upcoming week. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. Also, if you would like to book a consult with me, you can find me over here at the Psychic Tarot reading page on the Beyond Mystic Consultants. You'll find a link to that below. And also, if you book with me now, you can receive 10% off. You'll find that coupon code, which is Beyond Mystic, all in capital letters on the banner below. Hi, Angela. Hi, Lakeside Laura, Wilma, the Grounded Hippie. Awesome name. Rose, welcome everyone. So what is going on this week? Here we go. Let's have a look at the cards. Brought my camera down a little closer. Hopefully we'll be able to fit this big picture spread in the screen. And this week, I'm going to do things a little differently. I'm actually going to lay out the whole spread to begin with, so you can see the whole picture as a big picture of what the week looks like. And then I'll read it the way I do when I do readings for individuals, which I just read the whole energy of the big picture spread. So let's do that and see what it looks like and feels like for this upcoming week. So here in the first house, which is the house of Aries, we have the Empress. Second house of Taurus, Three of Swords. Ouch, we'll talk about that when we get to it. Third house of Gemini, the communication house. We have the communication card, the Magician. Pretty great to have there. In the house of Home, the house of Cancer, we have the Strength card. In the house of Leo, we have the Eight of Wands. Let me just see if I can turn the light down here a wee bit so that it's not so bright. Oh, no, it's not going to let me do that. Okay. Let's keep going. Seven of Swords in the house of Virgo. And King of Wands over here in the house of Libra, which is about relationships, partnerships, and so on. 10 of Cups in Scorpio. Okay, I'm going to move the whole thing down a little bit more so that you'll be able to see it. 10 of Cups up here in Scorpio. It's a big spread, so it takes up a lot of space. 8 of Cups in Sagittarius, which is travel, adventure, spontaneity. And the little Page of Pentacles, we'll push him down a bit more. Page of Pentacles is in the house of Capricorn. 8 of Pentacles in the house of Aquarius, which is friends, allies, networks, collaboration. That's a pretty great card to have there, 8 of Pentacles. And finally, in the house of Pisces, which is our subconscious, hopes, fears, potentially the area of self-undoing. We do have a bit of a self-undoing card here. So we're going to look at how we can mitigate that. And then in the center, I'm not going to do an oracle card this week. I'm actually going to put a tarot card in the middle, and it is the King of Pentacles. So everything that goes on kind of culminates in this King of Pentacles energy. Let's start with that. It is really about putting your beliefs into practice. Practice what you preach. Like make some kind of tangible effort towards what you value. So we've been really visualizing. We've got this Magician card in the house of Gemini here, and we've been visualizing a lot about putting our dreams into words. getting a clear idea in our minds about what it is that we want to manifest, what we want to actualize, what we want to create in this beautiful home planet of ours. And this week, it feels like there's going to be a need to somehow, like monetize that, bring that into 3D, make that tangible. And we actually have a lot of supportive energy coming in here from our friends, our network, and our allies. Everybody's in a productive mood this week. Everybody is like, let's roll up our sleeves and get stuff done. And there's a lot of sharing strategy as well. So this is the area, Virgo is the area where we get stuff done. It's the sort of daily practical responsibilities and duties, and we have a strategy card there. So something about sharing strategies, getting productive, getting things accomplished this week. Your home base is going to feel supportive. So we've got strength, the strength card down here in the root chakra, or the place of our home base, and that looks really supportive. And even if you just tackle one little project or one little step on your bigger vision, this is a great week to feel like you're making progress towards something. It's also a super great week around relationships. Look at this. We have King of Wands in the area of Libra, the house of Libra, which is partnerships. It's, serious relationships, really. And right beside it in the house of Scorpio, 10 of Cups. So 10 of Cups is like happily ever after. Some way this week, we're going to see the possibility of maybe something we've given up on. This can be relationships in terms of marriages and partnerships. It can also be, longstanding friendships, even close family ties. And it feels like something that we thought would not be able to be revived has a second wave coming. So we really feel the ability to recover something. And also, if we've been doubting or worrying about our relationship dynamics, it feels like they're taking a turn this week for the positive. So I just love that. So this Three of Swords is the area of finances, material security, feeling, I want to say, even good in our bodies. And it's almost like as we feel uncertain about our financial security, our material security, maybe even as we feel a little uncomfortable in our own bodies, instead of isolating ourselves, it feels like this week we're willing to work with our loved ones to, almost like rebuild and repair. So something about needing to work together and care about our closest people because the outer environment is not as secure as we would like it to be. So something about that insecurity pulling us closer together, drawing us closer together. I really love this. We have two number sevens here. 7 of Cups in the area of Pisces. So this is, I want to say, it can relate to, again, we've seen this in the last couple of weeks where you may feel kind of drawn towards some bad habits, maybe some addictive patterns rising their head that you've had well under wraps for a long time. Again, we are all in this together. So it isn't about, feeling that there's something wrong with you. This is almost like a collective experience that we're going through. And yet we've got really, really beautiful, strong, supportive energy on either side of that Seven of Cups. Now, interesting, this week here in North America, we are celebrating Mother's Day. So by next weekend, we're heading up to next weekend for sure is Mother's Day. And so this is the week where we are kind of somehow connected to our relationships with our mothers, and as mothers connected to our relationships with our children. So I feel like there's some real healing around anything that is outstanding in terms of your relationship with your mother, a mother figure, or you as a mother with your children. And there, as I said, whatever this addiction kind of energy is, bad habits, old habits resurfacing, it does feel like there's a lot of strength. We're taking a lot of strength and comfort from whatever sort of healing is happening around our relationship with our mothers. I know that's kind of esoteric, but that's what I'm being shown right now is most valuable for us to be aware of. And again, I just want to say that I'm getting this message that the proof is in the pudding. So something like less talk and more action this week. And we will likely feel pretty activated, pretty energized and motivated, which is lovely. It's a really lovely thing to see here. We have in this little spread as well 3 number 8s, actually 4 number 8s. We have the 8 of Pentacles here, 8 of Cups here, 8 of Wands here, and the Strength card down at the bottom. So number 8s are about setting patterns in motion, manifesting things, generating their own momentum. So momentum and motivation and patterns and manifestation are all words associated with the 8s. When we have 4 of a kind in a tarot reading, it signifies that there's a real security, there's a real stabilization of whatever the frequency of that number is. So in this case, a real stabilization around what you're putting in motion right now will gain momentum naturally on its own. I love that we don't see very much in the way of sword energy in this little spread, because the swords are about our thoughts, our ideas, but they're also about getting really locked into the mind and often overthinking things, overanalyzing, getting into anxiety in the nervous system and the mind. We don't see a lot of that this week. The 2 sword cards that are present, 3 of Swords, is basically, people look at this card, if you see it, the image, it looks quite painful, right? It's like a sword, a heart with 3 swords sticking in it. And yet I like to say it's the open heart surgery card. It means that when we say this, the swords are actually being pulled out, not put in. We are removing the swords. So this is a hurt or a stress or an event that's already happened in the past, and we're actually healing it now. So in this case, this event is related to our sense of security. It's in the house of Taurus, our financial security, our resources, and so on. So there's something being, I want to say, healed around that. And then over in this house here, 7 of Swords in the area of our daily life and our daily activities. And as I mentioned before, that relates to strategy. So there's something really beautiful in terms of us feeling strategic around, again, accomplishing things and being very productive this week. So overall, I feel like this is looking like a pretty positive week, other than this little energy of, old habits and old addictions rising to the surface. But we have so much strength and the energy of momentum behind us, all those 8s, the ability to if we put ourselves into a good regime this week, it's likely to stick. So developing the habit that actually can sustain long after this week is over. So what you set in motion this week will really gain a lot of traction. Let's have a look at some of the questions. Do we have chat moderators in the house? Unfortunately not. Seer, my apologies. Okay, let's see if I can notice any questions. I know there were some up further towards the beginning. You know what would be so helpful if you have questions, if you would put them in capital letters. And if I haven't got to them, just copy, paste, and put them down lower in the chat. And that way I will have a better possibility of seeing them since I am on here by myself. Yeah, Mercury retrograde is finally over. Thank gosh. It was brutal. It really was brutal. And yet, every time one of these astronomical and astrological events happen, they have a purpose. And Mercury retrogrades are often about drawing us back through some aspect of the past to kind of have a redo of it, a revisit of it. And we don't like that, right? I mean, us humans, we tend to like to go forward. We don't like to be pulled back into old stuff, especially if it's old stuff that didn't go very well. But there is something about reclaiming, when we look back often into the past, we can see it from a different perspective and integrate it a lot better. Hindsight is 2020. So we can look back and say, oh, now I'm aware, it becomes obvious, this is why that happened. I can reframe my memory of it, and I can turn it into a positive story instead of a negative one. Okay, let's see. I'm going to actually go down to the bottom, see if anyone has put questions in. Moving to Florida next week. Is this a good move for me? Okay, let's start with that. And who is asking me that? Trixie is asking. I feel like there were questions at the beginning as well about the housing market in Australia. So Trixie, I'm just going to pull a quick card for you on your question, and then we will look at the housing market in Australia, and then there'll probably be some other questions surfaced by that time. All right. So moving next week, you've got 7 of Wands. So 7 of Wands is the Valor card. It is about, it's what's most important is what's motivating you to do this, and you are doing it for the right reasons. So stick with that. Stick with knowing that the reasons are in alignment with your greater good. And even if the events don't all turn out exactly as you hoped, you are on, the Valor card is a lot about our destiny path. So it does feel like it's in alignment with your greater destiny, even if it doesn't, there's often some work to be done with the 7 of Wands. It's not necessarily a super easy path, but it does feel like an accurate path in terms of your destiny. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, and I wanted to look into the housing market in Australia. Look at this. The cards are jumping all over the place. A pretty big topic. Let's see what wants to be revealed about this. I'm going to pull 3 cards. Okay. Interesting. So we are looking at, we've got justice in the past, 6 of Cups in the present, and King of Wands in the potential future. So, it's interesting because I was hearing the words, this is a hot topic, and I really do feel like there is some event that's happened in the recent past that is basically bringing a kind of karmic justice into the situation. There is a little reprieve happening right now temporarily, and then this is going to heat up again. And so what that means to me is that we are going to see a lot of fluctuation. I want to say maybe in about 5 or 6 weeks, we're going to see things really going kind of like a roller coaster, high and low and all over the place. And it feels like if we're looking at stabilizing, it's almost like people are needing to get pretty stirred up about what's happening in order to address the larger issues, the larger topics. And what is this heading towards? I'll pull one more card. It's almost like a new stabilized system, but it's got to go through some kind of roller coaster-ish energy of highs and lows first. So that's what I'm seeing right now. Maybe you can ask something more specific about it if you want to know a specific. And I will look at one more question. Will Trudeau make a major announcement this month? Oh, you're welcome, Trixie. Will Trudeau, or who we are seeing as Trudeau, make a major announcement this month? I'm kind of curious about what you are imagining as a major announcement, or what sort of announcements will be made this month. Maybe that's what we can look at. And are you referring to disclosure, perhaps? Gosh, look at this. 7 of Cups, 9 of Swords, anxiety. I don't see that necessarily this month. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not really seeing a major announcement of if you're speaking about a kind of disclosure. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing that. Almost as though there's, again, it feels like waiting in the wings for something else to clear first. And there's just a major amount of anxiety brewing. I'm wondering if, because I see 7, 8, and 9 here, if we're looking at possibly a little bit later. So 7 weeks, for example, which interestingly takes us kind of into the month of June. Well, it does take us into the month of June. So 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks feels more likely than this month. And I will look for one more. Minerva wants to know about exopolitics in Haiti. And is this a month for more financial abundance for the collective? Okay. I will pull 2 cards on each of those questions. Okay, so exopolitics in Haiti. Wow, goodness gracious. These 2 cards together, I'm just going to say what they refer to, and you can draw your own conclusions about this, but this card, 10 of Cups, is really, again, as I said, it was in the wheel. it is sort of like the happily ever after card, and the Knight of Wands is the spiritual warrior. So there's a tremendous amount of like expansion into a greater integrity, a greater spiritual integrity is being birthed. So this process is, I want to say, maybe going to develop over the next 7 or 8 weeks. Interesting, I get that same timeline as I was seeing around the question with Trudeau. There's something that's building over time, and a completion maybe say around 10 weeks from now. So that's what I'm seeing around that question. And then we will look at the question around financial abundance and security for many of us. Again, 2 really, really beautiful cards. Look at this. We've got the Page of Cups and the 9 of Cups. So Page of Cups is this sense of eternal renewal. 9 of Cups is wishes fulfilled, a renewal of our wishes being fulfilled. So somehow, again, this is a very interesting timeline around 7, 8, 9 weeks, something building and evolving into a much brighter possibility over the next 7 to 9 weeks. So again, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, things are looking like it's almost like we're going through this node right now, and we need to stay in our hearts, because both of these cards, both of these little mini layouts are so much about frequency, higher frequency, heart-centered frequency. And look at this, you know, I just want to point out, if you've been following me, if you've been watching me for the last few years that I've been on YouTube, I have to say, there was a time, a few, you know, like say a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, there were so many dark, heavy, intense, negative cards all the time in spreads. You know, I was seeing like just really nasty, nasty cards a lot of the time. And I feel like I'm seeing more and more of these energies where even though things look bad on the surface, there's just such a moving energy of renewal. And it's not just about being hopeful. The odds of that many beautiful cards coming up as frequently as they have been are pretty slim. So to me, this actually is revealing that we are making tremendous progress. So before I sign out for today, I want to remind you, please like, share, and subscribe to both the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel, which is here, also to the Beyond Mystic Rumble channel. And if you would like to book a session with me, I am taking bookings into, I believe it's early August now. You can find the link below to access the consultants page where you can book a session with me, and then access the coupon on the banner below, which is Beyond Mystic, all in capital letters, to receive a 10% discount on your reading. I wish you all a beautiful week, and I look forward to connecting with you again here next Saturday. Blessings. Bye for now, everyone. Have a lovely week.